Good evening, everyone. Recording has started, but before we start the session as such, and since more people are still joining, I would like to just uh, have an overview of the what the plan is. We have 4 sessions of 2 hours each. Two are today scheduled today with 15 minutes break in between, and two are scheduled tomorrow. Meeting is being recorded, and those who are not able to join will have the advantage of having a look at the recorded session through YouTube. I will like to present the PPT. Just a minute. Now, please let me know when the other people are there trying to get in. Because when I am presenting, I may not be able to have an idea who else is waiting. Are the screen visible to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Now we start with the introduction to marketing and markets. What is your view of the market? What you consider is marketing management? We sometimes refer to, we go to the market, we are going for shopping to buy something, and the term used in the layman's language is marketing. That is not marketing. Going to the market, buying something is not marketing. Though in layman's language we say marketing karne gaye hain. We are going to buy something, that's different. For a professional, marketing basically involves ascertaining. Just next slide is not coming up. Are you just a minute? Let me see why it is not moving on. I will start afresh with this. Now, most of the things what we do involve marketing. Is the marketing applicable to you? Most of you must be working. That is why this is basically meant for the working people who are not able to go to the regular classes. That means somewhere you are involved with. Can someone take care of these people who are joining late and they create this thing? From the manufacturer or producer's point of view, marketing is an activity which results in satisfying the needs of the consumers and at the same time making some profit for the company. So this, if we go by this view, then the marketing is defined as process of ascertaining consumer needs, converting them into products and services, and then moving those products to the final consumer. Final consumer, so that it satisfies his need. All the while, what is the emphasis? Profit for the company, satisfaction of the consumer, and at the same time, I am busy, please. At the same time, ensuring optimum use of the resources which are available to the company. Philip Kotler has defined it as, in 3 words, meeting needs profitably. People joining in between are causing disruption. Somehow this screen gets stuck. Another definition which is given by the American Marketing Association is that performance of those business activities which result in directing the flow of goods and services from the producer to the consumer. Later, it was upgraded to include a set of institutions and processes for creating, communicating, and delivering exchanging offerings that have value for the customers, clients, partners, and society at large. Basically, it involves is that it is not only the direct consumers, it is the society at large also. In this definition, there is emphasis on the exchange process. Exchange is that you give something and you get something in return. Now, something is wrong with this presentation part. I have to close it every time and then go fresh. Philip Kotler had given another definition that marketing involves giving superior customer value. What is value? Value is the difference between the benefits which are made available to the consumer and the cost to the producer who is making those products or services available. This in turn depends on 3 factors: quality, service, and the price. Now, as the value of the product increases, most of the time its quality is better and the benefits derived by the consumer are also better. This you must have experience in your personal life also. There's a Hindi saying, महंगा रोवे एक बार, सस्ता रोवे बार बार. Basically, what it means is that a cheaper thing normally is more in quality, with the result you have to make multiple purchases. And if you see the over the life cycle of the product, then the benefits may not be much. So the value and the service, they are price. Normally, they are move in opposite directions. Uh, Higher price, normally it is expected that the quality will be better, and the lower price, normally, I am using the word normally. It is not always so. In this regard, we come over into the concept of needs, wants, and demands. Now, you feel thirsty, you need water. You will you feel hungry, you need food, and so on. In the life, we need so many things. Wants are something which may be desired, but not necessarily needed. Like, say, one who is used to taking drinks or, say, drugs, he wants those drugs, but they are not really needed. They are harmful to the individual, but he may still want that. Whereas, say, preventive health checkup is something which is needed by an individual, but he may still not want it. See, the distinction between needs and wants. In the normal conversation, we use them interchangeably. We attribute the same meaning to that. But in the marketing concept, they mean slightly different things. Now, a person needs something, wants it also, and has resources to satisfy that want. If he has the resources, money to spend, then that gets turned into demand. A need or a want not supported by the resources, means to buy the product or the service, remains that it doesn't get converted into a demand. Marketeers are more concerned with the demand, because when they satisfy the demand, if they find a person who is willing to pay the price for that. You can't go on satisfying the needs of everyone. Each firm, each company has a limited resources, and it wants to use those resources profitably. Basically, a business exists for making profit. So in this regard, we come across the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which you must have read part of your HR also. In HR, you come across it says that there are 5 kinds of needs: physiological, safety needs, social needs, esteem, and the self-actualization. Physiological needs are basically roti, kapda, makan, food, water, shelter. Safety, security, protection, like, say, you seek insurance to take care of your old age, or say when someone falls sick or some other such thing. Safety needs. Then social needs. Social needs, you want to be accepted by the society. No, you have to want to be belong to the social group, family to begin with, friends, others, say office circles. That satisfies our social needs. Esteem needs. self-esteem, recognition, status. Like say, one example which we can take is that civil services and say in the academic world, for most of the posts, grades are the same. But which one carries more recognition and status and therefore is sought after? Social services, civil services. Basically, why? Because monetary needs are less important at that stage. Recognition and status is more important. Self-actualization, self-development, realization. Like a painter may paint for his self-satisfaction, not necessarily because it will fetch him good money. Creative activities are basically in that category. From the marketer's point of view, important point is that satisfied need is no longer a motivating factor. Like say, suppose you don't have a job, then what is the immediate need? That you need something which can take care of your food, shelter, clothing. So you may be willing to take up any job. Then the next step will be some job which offers you some security, job security, provident fund benefits, some group insurance kind of thing. And then next step will be that within that, the group or the office where you are working, your family, your where you are staying, that they have a sense of belonging. You are accepted as part of that group. Then self-esteem may be the same monetary benefits, but a higher level of status, recognition. As I mentioned, that satisfied needs are no longer the motivating factors. So as a marketer, you should know that your marketing activities have to be directed at which group of people, and accordingly you try to modify your marketing. We are not going into too much of details because we have limited time, but giving you an overview. From the customer's perspective, the needs can be categorized into stated needs, real needs, unstated needs, delight needs, and the secret needs. What is a stated need? Something which a customer says so, that yes, this is what he needs. I want to open a bank account. One example. Real need is that he wants to save money, and that saved money he wants to put it in a bank with a savings bank account, and it should be as close as possible to his place of stay, residence, not very far off. This makes it more specific. The need is made more specific. Unstated needs, which the customer is not able to express, but he, in the heart of hearts, he wants that this should be done. What is that? That he, along with the credit card, he should be able to get a debit card or maybe a credit card, a checkbook. Delight if what he expecting and what he actually gets, the ambience of the office, behavior of the dealing staff, if he is happy with that, he feels better. Secret needs, which he doesn't state. He doesn't state so, but that is what he inherently feels. He may not confess, like he says that he is not comfortable, like someone say your age group, everyone may be very tech savvy, but slightly older persons, he may not be very tech savvy. So he's not comfortable with the net banking or mobile banking or such. He will prefer to do the banking in the conventional way and not the net banking and all. That may be his secret desire or the need. The wants and demands I have mentioned that wants backed by the willingness and purchasing power. See, there are two things. One is that he wants that product. He is willing to pay for it and has the purchasing power. It could be that a person is willing, but he doesn't have the purchasing power. Or it could be that he has the purchasing power, he has the money, but he doesn't want to spend it. The willingness and purchasing power are two aspects of that thing. That is when it gets converted into a demand. Willingness as well as purchasing power, both taken together, result into that. What you do as a marketer is that you recognize the needs and wants of the customers. You try to find out what are the needs which are still unmet, which have not been met, and then try to fulfill those needs. Now, if you look at it, why is marketing important for you? How do you look at it? Can someone respond? I hope you are all not on the mute. Everybody, I think the system makes you all on the mute. Okay.
So we need marketing. This is Mr. Jit to uh, to uh, to find out the um, opportunities which we have in the current going
Yes,
environment.
you are close. Basically, for the prospective employer, you are a product. Better qualified means better product, which he can use. The producer can use in his office or in the firm or in the factory premises or wherever, depending upon what kind of field he's working in. Now, what price is paying to you is based on your quality. As we mentioned earlier, that a better quality product commands normally a better price. So, like say today you are someone who is without an MBA degree. A couple of months since you will get an MBA degree. So, from the market's point of view, you become a better product because of your better skill, better knowledge, which you have acquired by undergoing this particular course. And as you start working, the experience you gain adds on to that value. And that is why, as the people acquire more qualifications, acquire more experience, they start commanding the higher salary. Salary is basically a price for the services you render. And better qualified, better experienced person is supposed to give you better output. So, a knowledge of marketing helps you determine what the market needs, what the prospective employer needs from you, how you can meet that, isn't it? So it is marketing is not only from the point of view that you will get to sell something, you will join a forum and then start selling products and services. No, you start with yourself. You yourself are a product for the prospective employers. I think you must have not have thought of this as this thing, that something like this, but this is a fact. Life goes like this only. Now, further, we make a distinction between the customer, consumer, and user. See, there are so many terms which are used: buyers, consumers, clients, purchaser, shopper, pattern, which are used interchangeably. Customer is someone who purchases something, but he may not be actual user. Like head of a family buys something which is meant for the family. Family is the user. Or sometimes say like he buys books and stationery for the children. Customer is father. Users are the children. Or say there are so many things which are head of the family may be buying, but used by the wife. So many kitchen appliances, kitchen items. So in the marketing, a distinction is made between the customer and the user. Customer consumer is normally used more interchangeably. Consumer and user are used interchangeably, but customer is a distinct person, distinct persona. Why it is important? This distinction is important. You have to decide at some stage that your marketing activities should be directed at whom? The customer who is actually buying, or the user who will be actually using it. It is basically both. In the organizational circumstances or even in the family circumstances, it is possible that final say rests with the actual user. Children may dictate what kind of clothes should be bought for them. Housewife may dictate what kind of fridge she needs, or what kind of so other kitchen appliances she needs. So, though the actual customer, the one who is paying for the product, may be head of the family, but what kind of features are looked at or expected are dictated by someone else. So it cannot be that a marketer should direct all the marketing activities only at the purchaser. No, he has to take care of the final user, final consumers also. Customer value and customer satisfaction. Now, what is the product? You buy, when you go to the market, you buy a product, a physical product, or you may avail of a service. Actually, what you are buying is the bundle of benefits which you expect that product will provide you. Some benefits are associated with the product, like say you buy a TV, what you expect? Entertainment, and without that product going in requiring to need repairs multiple times or deteriorating in quality after a short period, or if it's so required, then there's a good after sale service, some warranty for a given period of time, say free home delivery, free setup. All those things are the benefit which a customer thinks of. More benefits are made available, more the satisfaction. So it is not that the customer is looking at only the physical product. He looks at all the benefits which he will be having by buying that product. That is what makes a product different from the one manufactured for the other manufacturer. Like say you want to buy a TV. There's so many brands are available in the market. Which one you will prefer? The one which has a better quality, same quality, lower price, free home setup, longer warranty, all those considerations remain. And for that, if you need to spend more time and energy trying to find out what is a better product, you will be willing to do that. So the cost is not limited to the price. it also involves the time and energy spent for acquiring that product. From the customer's point of view, what is the customer value? Total customer cost reduced from the total customer benefits. The difference, higher the total customer benefits, higher the value for the customer. What is your aim as a marketer? You add more value. And the most of the marketers, what they try to do? They try to improve upon the product and at the same time reduce the cost of the product. If the cost of product is reduced, obviously to consumer, the producer will be in a position to reduce the cost of the product also. What is the satisfaction? Customer satisfaction? The expectation, a certain point that this is expected, and what he actually gets. If he gets more, he feels satisfied. Of course, since the expectations can differ from person to person, so the satisfaction level may also differ from person to person. Satisfaction is something which comes up after the product has been purchased. It's a post-purchase phenomenon. Pre-purchase expectation, post-purchase actual experience. That is the difference between the two. If it is negative, it may become customer dissatisfaction. Expectations are more, actual experience is poor, so this becomes a dissatisfaction. Anything so far, what we have done so far, anything you want to ask, anything, any clarification required? Okay, we will continue. The people joining late cause a lot of disruption. Market is derived from the Latin word marketus, which means a place. Like we sometimes use, like where is the person gone? He has gone to Sarojini Nagar market or say Khan market. That is a place, that refers to a place. Traditionally, it used to be hats, bazaars, weekly melas, weekly hats, and the latest is e-commerce sites. We don't physically move anywhere, but we visit the e-commerce sites. That is the e-market. We can divide these markets into different types, 4 broad categories, and of course the government is the another one. Consumer markets, customers at large. No, all of us are customers. All of us may be some producers also in one sense or the other, but except for one product or service which we are producing, for all others we are the consumers. Clothes, detergent, furniture, phone, toiletries, all the different things. Business market, business organizations who purchase goods and services for providing, for manufacturing, producing other goods and services for sale. Business markets. Global, of course, which are not confined to a small geographical area of a state or a nation, which are covering multiple nations. You have a number of them, you are aware. Apple, Colgate, Coca-Cola, Nike, and all those, they are part of it. Non-profit markets, sometimes which we call as the NGOs. And it's not always NGOs. Some of the government agencies also like they provide services, not with the profit motive, but for providing a service to the society at large. Most of the public utilities come under this kind of category. Of course, the like say electricity and the water and all, they are public utilities, but they do try to make some profit for the purpose of meeting the needs of maintenance, expansion, improving upon the quality. But profit is not the main aim. For most of the other business organizations, profit is the aim. For non-profit markets, profit may be secondary. Main aim is not the profit. Main aim is the providing the service, utility. Government also is buying number of things, number of products and services for its functioning. They are also a different kind of markets because they are governments deal with the public money, and so that public money is not squandered and the best possible use is made of that kind of money. Government purchasing is more regulated, subject to more restrictions vis-a-vis the, like say you want to buy something for yourself. You go to the market, like the product, you have the money in the purse, you buy it. Whereas in case of government, same thing, like say if you are say purchase manager with some government department and you want to buy it for the government, you cannot decide it this way. First you have to take the attributes, the features of the product, then you have to take quotations, finance may approve it, another different level of approving authority may approve the product, and then only you'll be able to purchase it. So different types of markets which we have. These marketing philosophies have been undergoing change over a period of time. 5 distinct stages we can in the marketing activities we can determine, and there are 5 different marketing philosophies to match that. Production concept, product concept, selling concept, marketing concept, and holistic marketing concept. This is the latest. Production concept is basically that if the product is available, it will sell. It should be affordable to the consumer, it will sell. This is from the time when the economies were underdeveloped. They were not developed at all. Rudimentary this thing. So the goods available, which were made available to the consumer, were very limited. And since the availability was less, so whatever could be produced could be sold off. So emphasis was on the production. You produce more, you'll be able to sell more. Availability and just a minute, someone is wanting to join. So if the product was physically available and it was affordable, it will be sold. And producing more at an affordable cost, reducing the cost. Herein comes the play of economies of scale. If you produce more, then the unit cost of production comes down. That is, of course, you must have read it as part of economics. We will not go into those details. But basic thing is that if you produce larger quantity, because of economies of scale, unit cost of production comes down. And then the next is that you make it available as widely as possible by mass distribution. This concept may still be working in some of the economies which are very, in the initial stage of development. But for a major part of the world, this kind of concept is no longer applicable. Next stage comes when the supply increases. Production is more, so availability is more. Demand is not corresponding to the supply available. So in such a scenario, it is not enough that the cost is low and it is available and that is affordable. Then consumers, because of the wider availability, become more choosy. So firms need to innovate and offer more choices to the consumers. A simple example, like say when mobiles became available, initial mobiles, what were they? Very rudimentary, big size, and limited services, and very high cost of availing of that services. But over a period of time, the sets became smaller, features improved, more and more features were added, higher choice was given to the consumer. So the whosoever was able to give more choice to the consumer, a better product, consumer went to that. So this was the next stage. Of course, even at this stage, the consumer needs were not taken into consideration. It was the emphasis was on the product and not on the what the consumer needs. Then next stage was the selling concept. See, when there are over a period of time as the economy further grows, the economy is further developed, the GDP goes up, income levels go up, and there are large number of sellers in the market who compete with each other. So what was felt there? There is a need to persuade the customer to buy the product. So this was what was emphasizing the selling concept. Product is available, multiple products are available, so choice is there. Whose product consumer should buy? You sell it to the consumer. You sell the selling concept. You persuade him to buy your product. Idea was that unless persuaded, a consumer may not be willing to buy that product. So heavily going into the selling and promotion to achieve the marketing success. Of course, at this stage, again, this has become less important because we have gone on to the marketing concept. And selling concept is still used for some of what we call the unsought goods. What are the unsought goods? Which the consumers don't seek. They are not sought after by the consumer, but consumers have to provide it. Like insurance. Most of the time, no, even say vehicle insurance, medical insurance, life insurance. These are the kind of products consumer do not buy on their own most of the time. They have to be persuaded. But for most other things, this selling concept is no longer as applicable as it used to be. This brings us to the next stage of the marketing. Marketing concept decides that it is not just production and it is not just persuading consumer to buy your product. Marketing concept believes that even before you produce the product, you determine what the consumer needs. And according to what the needs and wants of the consumers are, how many of these you can convert into the products. If you have been able to predetermine the needs and wants, and you are able to produce things according to those needs and wants, and the customer will automatically buy. So the marketing concept starts even before the product. First thing is that you determine what the customer needs. Then accordingly, you try to design the product, define the product, bring it to the market, test market it, consumer likes it, go ahead for the mass scale production. Consumer doesn't like it, modify the product. Again, go to the market. We'll come to the marketing mix. Accordingly, now all the four concepts of marketing mix are taken care of into the marketing concept. Holistic marketing is the latest thing. Holistic marketing says that all the four components of the marketing work simultaneously. Like say there's internal marketing. It is not that you are marketing to the customers. You do the marketing for the internal within the organization. That may include the senior management, marketing department, other departments. They all have to be able to be convinced that this is what we need to do. Performance marketing, relationship marketing, investment marketing, integrative marketing, all these have to work together. Basic idea is that you don't work in isolation. It is not that the different wings of the organization work for what is their primary aim and not together. Holistic basically means that the whole of the organization, different wings of the organization are oriented towards the marketing concept, and they do the marketing in an integrated way. They come together, they don't do it separately. What can happen if each one of them works at for the immediate aim of that particular wing? You find that end product is not good enough. Like say if you go by this concept, say product department wants a certain particular type of raw material which is costly but which results in a quality product. Finance department may think that no, why should we spend more, cut down on the cost and go for a cheaper raw material? Now this becomes contradictory. If the finance department is able to prevail, then what may happen at the end of the day? A product comes out, but product which is not what the production department wanted it to be. And if they do it half-heartedly, then the marketing department also get disheartened that what the customer needs, that product is not according to what the customer needs, because what the customer needs is told by the marketing department only. So each wing works in contravention of the other's aims. That makes it not holistic. That the previous one, the marketing. So this is the latest. The latest is that we should. Hey, bhai, people keep joining so late. We take it one by one, just to give you an overview. Relationship marketing, mutually satisfying long-term relationships with the main stakeholders. Who are the main stakeholders? Customers, employees, suppliers, distributors, and the financial components, shareholders, financial investors. They have become this thing. Integrated marketing tries to match the activities so that individual and collective efforts are maximized. You get the maximum synergy. But you have heard the term synergy. What is synergy? SYNERGY. Synergy is basically, what do we call it? Ki 1 plus 1 doesn't make 2, 1 plus 1 makes 11. एक और 2 11. 11 क्यों? Because of the synergy. So that is what the aim is of the integrated marketing. Internal marketing to the internal customers, external customers, of course, are the final customers in the marketplace. Performance marketing, financial and non-financial returns. No, like you are not looking at only the financial returns. If you are able to build up the brand, if you are able to build up the customer loyalty, then that is also part of the non-financial return, because that will get you the repeat orders, that will get you a higher market share. And once the brand value is built up, when the loyalty is built up, you may be able to command a premium price. Like say we have certain products which we say that they are, like say you want to go for a TV, which TV to buy, particular brand, that this brand is good. Their need for repairs is not much. Their after sales service is very good. Same goes for all the services. This was holistic marketing. Now we come to the marketing mix. Philip Kotler had given this concept. As per him, the marketing mix consists of the four elements: product, price, promotion, and place. So these four components can be used in different proportions in the market, depending upon the type of market, depending upon the type of product, and depending upon the life cycle of the product. We'll come to that later also. We'll going into detail. But like sometimes the emphasis may be more on the product, sometimes the emphasis may be on the price or promotion or the place. So they are used in different combinations by adding or subtracting from one or the other to create a marketing strategy which is desirable from the company's point of view, which will get the maximum possible returns for the company and maximum possible satisfaction for the customer. Now, how to develop a marketing mix? How do you go about it? What kind of marketing mix one should have? First stage is that you have a product. Then what are the unique features of the product? That particular product which is offering. You identify and then you emphasize on those features of the product for the individual customers. Now, like say, as a consumer, many of us know, we may say that we need a mobile phone, but I don't want the upper end mobile phone. I want something which is good enough to use, which doesn't get spoiled easily. Like say you have in the market which are mobiles which are sub 1000, under 1000, and going up to say 1 lakh plus. As more and more features are added to the mobile, the price goes up. The high-end mobiles are basically a substitute even for the laptops. You may not even need a laptop. You can do everything on the mobile itself. So that becomes a sort of walking office. Laptop, camera, music, everything is there into it. All those features are there. But our needs differ. As an individual, each one of us may look for a different kind. Yes, someone, you want to ask something? Someone is wanting to ask something? No? So accordingly, you can understand very clearly that these four components of the marketing mix will be having a different combination for the, say, if you don't go into all the details, the lower end of the market, middle level of the market, and high end of the market. And then it is not only, doesn't end with that. Then you have to understand what your competition is bringing to the market. Like say the price, what price you'll be able to charge. If your competition brings a similar product at that level for which he is charging lower, you may have to lower the price. You cannot go on saying that my price is this only and I will sell it only at this price. No, you will be priced out of the market. Your products will not sell any longer. You have to match the market. If the market doesn't accept your product at that given price, see, the price becomes important. At that given price, vis-a-vis your competition, then you are out. So you may try to
Excuse
know.
me, sir.
Pardon? Yes.
Sir, I have a question on this marketing mix,
Yes.
the steps.
Yes.
As I can see, the steps what you have mentioned is like we are defining the feature first. Is it something we follow as a convention? Because my understanding is that why we not understand the market first, then competition, then we develop the feature or what kind of product you want to.
That is, of
Uh,
course, that I said earlier. See, there's two things. One is decide marketing as such. For the marketing, first step is researching the market for determining what you should produce. But having decided what to produce, then deciding what combination of the marketing mix, in what composition these four elements will be taken up. That is it. You are right in
mm,
saying that we go by the trying to research the market as to what the market needs and what we should produce. That is the first step in the marketing. Here we are talking of the developing of marketing mix. We have a product in hand, and
mhm.
according to that product, we may have different kind of combinations of marketing mix for different types of products or different variants of the same product. Like say, same example, if we take mobile for high-end market, what will be the what is the main feature the consumer looks at?
Okay.
What will be his preference? Price is not the consideration normally for the high-end buyer. For the high-end buyer, normally the consideration is the features. If he gets some additional features and for that he has to pay slightly higher price, he'll be happy. At the lower end of the market, people are more price sensitive. So if it's like you say that we have instead of 32 GB storage, you have 56 GB storage or maybe even more, 64 or whatever. He says, I don't need that much. I will buy one which has 32 GB, that is good enough for me.
Mhm.
So the mix of the marketing, at one stage, price is more important. At other stage, the features are more important. That is what we are talking of here.
Okay, sir. Sir,
There are two
thank you.
different stages, two different concepts. That is what I'm saying. Clear, I hope, Biswajit?
Yes, sir. Yep, yep.
Yeah, okay. So we were talking of that while deciding the price and the other components of market mix, you have to understand the competition, what the competition is doing. Accordingly, at one stage, it may so happen that lower price itself will not get you the customer. No, like say in today's date, will you have any buyers for the say black and white TV? You may offer them cheap, but no one wants them. And slowly we are coming to a stage, say even again take the example of mobile, that everyone wants to go for the smart TV, smart mobile. Of course, the TVs also we have smart TVs. Whosoever buys new, most of the times, if this pocket permits, he will want to go in for a smart mobile. So what is happening is that as a marketeer, you may have to come up with the cheaper variants of the smart mobile. See, that is how it differs. I hope it is clear. Then where to make it available to the customer, where the customer is more likely to buy the product. Like so you have say now this the latest is the competition is between the conventional way of shopping and the e-sites, e-commerce, conventional commerce and the e-commerce. So you will find that the most of the younger lot, if your products are such, this is are aimed at the younger generation, most of them flock to the e-commerce sites. Whereas people in my age group, they are still having less of fascination for the e-commerce sites and more for the conventional shopping. So, what is your target consumer? Which generation? You may have both. So, you may have to have a mix of the marketing strategies. Accordingly, your communication will also be different. Like, how do you communicate to the consumer, the final consumer, the methods used? Like, say, the latest in this is social marketing. Social marketing was unheard of, say, even 15 years back. Now, social marketing is one of the important components of the promotion. The last stage is that all these components should be identified and they should be planned in a way that they relate to each other. Like we had talked about the holistic marketing, this also has to be holistic, integrated with each other. So then only you get the maximum benefit. Corresponding to these 4 P's of marketing mix, we have what we call the 4 A's: acceptability, affordability, accessibility, and the awareness. Acceptability, that the product is acceptable in terms of the design, brand, image. Affordability, 2 components: person is willing to pay and person has the ability to pay. Both should be present. Like I mentioned earlier also, sometimes the money is available but the person is not willing to pay. Sometimes he is willing but doesn't have the ability to pay. Both should be available. So price is directly related to the affordability. Acceptability is directly related to the product. Accessibility, where it is available, whether it is available next door, whether I have to go 2 kilometers to this thing. Like say, you find that most of the what we call the company outlets, where the company directly sells its products without an intermediary. And since there is no intermediary, there are no margins involved. So companies are able to give it cheaper. But most of them are outside the main city area. They are not in the main city area, they are on the outskirts. But people are still willing to go because the price difference is good enough for the effort involved. So here also there are 2 components: availability of the product and the convenience to buy that product or avail of that service. Accessibility directly related to the place component of the marketing mix. Promotion, awareness, making people aware of that such a set product is available. If people are not aware that you are able to provide such a product or such a service, they will not come to you, they will not buy your product. So you have to make them aware, you have to keep them informed about the characteristics of the product, where it can be bought, at what rate it can be bought, and then you keep on pushing them. You're trying to pushing them to repurchase. So this involves 2 things: knowledge about the product, that this is the product available and these are the services which it can provide, these are the benefits which it can provide, and another one is awareness about the brand. Like product is available, but same product may be marketed by the different producers, different marketeers. So there are different brands of the same product. So which one is more reliable? Promotion involves not only making people aware of the product and the brand also. Making use of these 4 components, having decided upon in which proportion they will be mixed up and made use of, you develop a marketing strategy for a particular target group. And that brings us to the next level, which is what is called the segmentation, targeting, and positioning. Before we go on to the next step, next chapter, or next unit, anything you want to ask about this marketing overview, whatever we have, what we have done so far? Anything?
No,
Shall
sir. Clear.
shall move on to the next one?
Yep.
Okay. Next is the environmental analysis, marketing environment. Like say these days there's a lot of talk of environmental pollution. Environmental pollution for us as human beings and the kind of air quality that we have to breathe and the kind of say water, whether it is pure good water or whether it is not the good water, quality water. We keep talking of that, and we there are a lot of agencies involved in analyzing the environment in which we live. Similarly, for the marketing, there is what is called the marketing environment. We as consumers, producers, marketers, as the providers, work in the same environment. So if the environment is good and conditions are conducive to us, we survive and flourish better than the others. Similarly, for the business, same stands true for the businesses also. So to be able to survive in a given environment, it is necessary that the businesses do the environmental scanning. They do scanning means basically make a thorough analysis of the environment in which the firm has to operate. What is the aim of doing this? You heard of the no, that SWOT, SWOT, SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and the threats. So a company is required to do that SWOT analysis of its environment to be able to determine what can be the threats to its existence, what opportunities are there for it to avail, and what kind of strengths and weaknesses are there to be able to avail those factors, those opportunities. If you don't do the environmental analysis, it may happen that you may have to forego many of the benefits which the organization provides. Like say you may miss identifying an opportunity. More so it may happen no, like the way the technology is changing these days, particularly say information technology, you may find that the changes are very, very rapid. And if the companies don't keep track of it and don't upgrade their technical competencies, they may be left out. Now, this environment can be divided into two broad categories, macro and micro. Macro refers to the external environment and micro refers to the internal environment. What does macro include? Macro is external to the firm, which is demographic, economic, socio-cultural, natural, technological, political, legal. Sometimes an acronym PESTLE, PESTLE, is used to refer to this, not for easily remember. Political, economic, socio-cultural, technical, legal, like that. We'll take them up one by one later. The micro refers to the internal to the organization. Consumers, those who supply raw material and other material to it, its employees, those who provide financials to it, the shareholders, investors, the banks, or some non-banking financial companies, competition. Now, this distinction between micro and macro is not sacrosanct. Now, like it is not pure. Like say, if you look at it, uh, one industrial unit in a particular industry unit has its internal environment, its own employees, its suppliers, and this thing. And what is external to it is, of course, overall is there, but within the industry, in individual unit and the industry, then industry and the general economy. And the economy may be, state economy and the national economy and the international economy. So there may be some overlapping areas. Like what is micro for the industry is macro for the individual unit. You get the point? So this distinction between micro and macro may be overlapping at times. Now, what is demographic environment? Demography basically refers to the population. Population, the people who constitute the population, they are your market. So, marketeer is interested in trying to understand what kind of changes in the composition of the is happening in the demography, in the people. Like say in Indian conditions, what is the biggest change which is happening in the composition? What is the latest? What our leaders have been emphasizing upon? We talked about the demographic dividend. Heard the concept, demographic dividend? What is demographic dividend? That we have a much
Dividing,
larger percentage of
dividing population on the basis of caste.
caste.
Yes.
Nee, where is the need for caste in this thing? Why caste? Yes, Srishti, you are asked the question, no?
No, I'm just telling you, the government is like dividing the population on the basis of caste also nowadays. The news that are coming.
No, see, that is taking a negative view of the things. It is
Okay.
not caste. Basically, what you are trying to divide is that you are trying to divide the people into different components depending upon their preferences, their living habits, their buying preferences, and all. See, if you look at it, like say, if you take India as a whole, what is
Yes.
the basic this thing distinction between say northern India and southern India?
Standard of like living way, culture.
Yeah. So North Indians normally are considered to be no, like who spend more,
Yes.
save less, uh, tendency to show off is more.
Yes. So,
Whereas Southern India, it is normally the general impression is that people are more conservative, and say person with the same level of income from some southern part of the country, he'll be living much more simply vis-a-vis this counterpart in the northern India. Same level of income,
okay.
isn't it?
Yes.
Now, if you take these two broad categories of the say environment, what is the difference? How will you target these people? Your marketing strategy should be different for these two kinds, isn't it?
Yes. So,
If you are more conservative, then you are likely to be more price sensitive.
yes.
Whereas otherwise, you are likely to be into something which is the latest, no? the latest brand of car, latest brand of TV, latest technology in terms of mobile and all.
Yes.
And same way, if you keep on dividing and subdividing into the different this thing, you find that we will have come to the next chapter, the consumer behavior. We'll come to that. But at this stage, you just feel that within the demography, even overall population of the country, there are different groups which, according to the age, educational levels, housing patterns, like what is the biggest change is coming into the household patterns in the today's environment, say 30 years back and now, what is the biggest change? Household pattern from joint families to the
Nuclear family.
unit families, isn't it? Then educational levels, what is the biggest change?
In earlier times, there were less education, and nowadays everyone is educated, everyone is graduated.
More people are taking up the studies, and
Yes.
within that, girls as a group
Yes, sir.
are becoming a dominant group. The participation of girls in the workforce as well as in the education level were much less in percentage terms. So, see, you find these are the changes which are coming up. And what does it mean? That it means that according to these changes in the demographic environment, the marketeers need to change their strategies. Composition of people is changing, then accordingly, you are finding that there are different groups which are available to you and whom you can target in terms of occupation, in terms of religious background, in terms of education level, income level, other cultural values.
Okay, sir.
Like say, suddenly we have become number one country, highest in terms of the population also as it is. No, and 50% population is below the age of 25. Of course, it was a couple of years old, this thing, but still holds true. Like we have that advantage of having one of the youngest populations, whereas Japan and some other countries are becoming, which are having more of the older people and less number of the young people. What change does it make for the economy as a whole? The dependency ratio goes up. Like less people in the working age group and more people in the non-productive age group. So higher the number of people in the working age group and lesser number of the people in the non-productive age group gives you a higher demographic dividend. Now more and more women are joining the workforce. That in the labor workforce participation, the participation of women has gone up. Life expectancy has gone up, so accordingly the people keep working later, for much later. Like even my lifetime, even in the government, the retirement age used to be 55, then became 50, 58, then 50 to 55 to 58, then 60, and now for certain categories it is 62. For doctors it is 65 already. So these kind of changes happen. This is all part of the changes which are taking place in the demographic environment. Natural environment, what is happening? We are able to find out more and more new resources which can be made use of, like who talked of using the hydrogen as a fuel, who talked of solar energy as a fuel, wind energy. Some of the new kind of raw materials are being used, like say railway wagons used to be purely iron, then became the lighter ones. Now these days they are talking of the latest one is that aluminum wagons, which are reinforced but lighter, equally sturdy, but weight is less. So if the weight is less, then that means they can carry more. So environmental pollution has become a concept. So you can no longer discharge the effluents into the air wherever you want. It used to be free for all earlier. Now the government is trying to regulate these kind of things. So changes are happening. People are becoming more conscious of the environment, protection of environment. More government regulations are there. Then there are pressure groups, which are, say, protection of ocean life, protection of wildlife. Like you had even earlier the Chipko Andolan for the saving the trees and all. So these are the changes which are coming up in the natural environment, economic environment. In for India as such, we have naturally over a period of time come from the developing to the, if not fully developed, at least the semi-developed stage. We are talking in terms of being the fifth largest economy and going on to becoming the still higher levels. Overall GDP is increasing. Of course, there may be the per capita income may still be an issue because of the inequity in the distribution of income levels and all. More globalization is happening. The tariffs are being brought down. The free trade agreements and all those things are becoming, which are becoming changes in the, but even in terms of the like say the banking industry, the way the different components of the economy work, their interdependence has gone up. Interdependence within the global economies have gone up. The composition of the economy, like say from agro-based to manufacturing-based to services-based, India has already reached the stage of the services-based economy. More than 50% of the income comes from the services sector. Agriculture, which used to be the two-third of the economy of GDP, now it is one-fourth, just about one-fourth, maybe even less now, as per the latest. What is changing in the technological environment? What are the changes coming up? See, the latest which you have experienced during the COVID times and what is happening now is the work pattern. Because technology is available, you are able to have the online, like right now we are having online class. We don't have to be present physically together, and people are here from pan India. This these particular sessions are open to people maybe from different parts of the country coming together. So these all revolutions which have taken place in the technological environment, revolutionize the overall economic process, the production process. People approaching the people becomes easy. Ordering a product becomes easy. In so many different ways, the digital technology has become a marketing tool. Digital technology has artificial intelligence is helping you improve the product design. New services, new products are coming up. All these changes are happening in the technological environment. Socio-cultural values are changing. Traditional beliefs are changing. Like the way people, sorry, this thing. What happened? Are we in the line or we have gone off?
Yes, so
We had cut off. This
no,
call was.
No,
Huh?
we can hear you, sir. We can hear you.
Okay. And then why this thing is, the screen is gone blank? Someone was trying to join and I think something went wrong. Anyway, I will again. Is it double now? It has become double now, huh? Oh, yes. Okay. So value, beliefs, lifestyles have undergone a change. So sum total of all the beliefs which we hold, our customs, our values, our traditions, work patterns, they all together make up we as a individual person, and persons taken together become part of the group, and different groups with similar habits can become a distinct target group for the marketeers, depending upon their social and cultural habits, values, and beliefs. Political legal. Depending upon the government of the day, you will find that there will be changes which will come up in the legal system also. And the political stability helps in improving the economic stability of the country. Of course, there are always different pressure groups which are working, trying to pull the thinking of the government in one way or the other. Like say abroad, you have in UK, Labour and Conservatives. Similarly, you'll have in other countries, other kind of one basic distinction remains between the democratic and the autocratic. Democratic values are given emphasis, but within the democratic, you find that the governments which are having the leftist inclinations and the one which are called the rightist ones, and those which are having a follow the middle path, and accordingly they will tend to change the rules and regulations governing the market. Of course, labor government will make rules which are more labor friendly, and the others will make the rules which are more, say, business friendly or capitalist friendly, like that. Those changes will have an impact on the business environment. Companies may have to accordingly change the way they operate in the given environment. If the environment changes, they may have to change the ways they operate, the way they market. These are part of the macro environment, how they change, what constitutes them, and how they may impact the marketing strategy. Then the micro. Micro is within the organization. The consumer, most important component of the market, micro is consumer, the one who is buying your product. If the company doesn't understand the consumer well enough to be able to determine what are the tastes and preferences of the consumers and how those tastes and preferences change with the change in technology, with the change in the, say, micro environmental factors over a period of time, then they may find that they are outclassed in the market. The firm which is able to identify the preferences of the customers first and bring out a product into the market to match those preferences will have an edge. See, how do the customers behave? Some are very brand loyal, and some will go for what is the cheapest available. They are not bothered about the brand. Same product, which one has the lowest cost? Suppliers, those who supply the raw materials. So it has to be good quality, the right price. Now, if the quality is bad, the final product will be bad. If the price is high, the cost of production will be higher, and the firm will not be able to match with the competition who may be able to bring out a cheaper product into the market. So supplier environment has to be closely monitored by the firms. Intermediaries, like both at the supply side as well as the consumer end, there are people who act as the middlemen. Of course, their role is also important, but they also have a cost. So more middlemen may add to the cost. Lesser middlemen, you may not be able to exploit the full market potential. So they are a necessity, but they add to the cost. So you have to keep a tab on them. They are important component of the internal environment. Competition is external to the market, but within the industry, this becomes internal. For a particular unit, competition with the another unit within the same industry becomes very important. Of course, all have to be, they all are regulated by the government. The policies and regulations are applicable to each, but the way they approach the customer, how they promote the product, and what is their cost of production, how they are able to do that, that will vary. And accordingly, what they are able to charge from the customer and what benefits they are able to provide will differ. So what are the recent changes which have come up within the Indian environment? In our country, what are the latest which has come up? One thing is that with the more products being available, when the less products are available, it is a seller's market because consumers have no choice. The same is the choices are more products are available, so it becomes a buyer's market. Buyer has the preference. Buyer has the upper hand, not the seller. So what one big change which has come up in India is change from seller's market to the buyer's market. Then smartphone revolution. Everybody has a smartphone, even the rickshawala, even the thelewala, auto, everything moves on the smartphone. Like housewives are able to tell the fellow that tomorrow you bring this, I will need these things. Internet penetration has gone up. Digital revolution. And more important is that the adoption rate. People are taking to the digital revolution at a much faster pace. There is no reluctance to adopt it. Like say, illiterate people, those who have not read it, those who are not otherwise tech savvy, they don't understand the technique behind it, but they are good users. They are able to use. They are able to use the mobiles, they are able to use the internet, and they are able to use the internet-based apps. So app market is going up in a big way. E-commerce is growing in a big way. So we had moved from agriculture based to manufacturing based, and now we are on the services based economy. And since our the number is large, and there is a much larger number which is at the bottom of the pyramid, for the marketeer, the benefits, the fortune lies at the bottom of the pyramid. Anything so far? We take up the next marketing research. No questions. Shall we move on to the next one? What is market research? We had talked of one question which was asked during this thing that we determine the consumer needs also. There was some issue Mr. Biswajit had raised. So we had talked about that the starting step overall is market research, marketing mix, and these are two different concepts. So we go back to the marketing research. What is marketing research? Systematic gathering, recording, and analyzing of data of problems related to marketing of goods and services. What is important is systematic gathering. See, what happens is that in the normal course, you keep on collecting some information or the other, but all that collection of information is not marketing research. Marketing research is systematic gathering. You have made a plan, and according to that plan, with a given aim, with a given objective, you collect data, record it, and analyze it. Analyze it to determine what are the problems and what are the possible solutions, so that you can adopt any one of them for improving your marketing effort. Since the business environment is growing complex, it requires specialized knowledge, and techniques are also becoming more and more sophisticated. So it becomes a highly specialized field. You have a separate unit and separate, in fact, paper also in the specializations related to the market research. And marketing research may cover all the different components of the marketing, like all the 4 P's, plus uh, uh, promotion, which includes advertising, place, which includes distribution, customers, particular product, how the competition is behaving, and how the external environment and changes in the external environment are going to affect the future market. Basic thing is that the changes are happening so fast that it is no longer that you can take your sweet time to make the changes. No, if you take longer, you may be left out. Those who are the first to join the bandwagon, those who are the first to introduce the change in terms of product, the type of product, they will have the advantage. Early bird advantage, what you used to call, that it happens in the marketing also. What are the different steps involved in the marketing research process? 5 steps: problem definition, research design, field work, data analysis, report presentation, and implementation. We'll take them up one by one. First is problem definition. If you have defined a problem properly, clearly, then your problem is half solved. Of course, some of the problems are which are routine in the sense that those problems are recurring. Time and again, the same kind of problem may come up. They are routine. But there are others which are not so routine, and they require critical thinking on the part of the management and research into the issues involved. Like definition, say one example could be, like say one big change which has happened over the last say 15-20 years with the penetration of computers and the laptops. What went out of the market? Typewriters. Now, of course, it is an old example, no longer applicable now because hardly anywhere typewriters are used. Of course, one thing is happening. You may be aware, you might have read in the media, papers and all, that in some critical areas where the safety and security issues are paramount, highly secret areas, some of the agencies, offices are going back to the typed material, typewriters, use of typewriters instead of the laptops or the desktops. Why? Hacking. Because laptops and desktops can be easily hacked. Like people like me, we are good users. We can use this thing, but we cannot really go back into the what is happening. Like if I want to make any changes, I may not be able to make it. Someone can easily hack into my laptop, one who is tech savvy. Now, a typewriter is nobody can hack into the typewriter. Like it is a physical thing. So if you look at it, if you have something which is secretive or important from this thing and you want to maintain the secrecy, It's better not to have it on the laptop, isn't it? So if, like say in the beginning, if someone was saying that the why the sales of typewriters is going down, if someone at that time had identified it, it is that it is due to introduction and penetration of more and more desktops. That would have been the right kind of problem definition. And if you are attributing it to something more, that the income has gone down or the some offices have shut down and all, that will be a wrong area to explore. So what had happened is that if you define the problem wrongly, all your follow-up actions, the subsequent steps, also go in the wrong direction. So identifying the problem clearly and defining it properly becomes very important. Then is the research design. Having decided upon the problem, that such and such problem exists and you want to solve it, how do you go about it? That design, that how you are going to achieve the stated research object. How will you collect the data? What kind of research instruments you will use? What will be the sampling plan? Become important. And each of these steps involve a cost. The corresponding cost becomes very important. Like it may be that you can have a more sophisticated research instruments and more better data collection methods, much bigger sample for your research, but since the costs will be higher, so you may go in for a less sophisticated instrument, less sophisticated data collection methods, which will be cheaper. Then what kind of data you collect? There are two different kinds: primary data and the secondary data. Primary data is what you collect directly, which is a original data directly collected by you. So since it is original, you collected it, it is fresh, latest. It may be collected through, of course, we are not going into the details of this, but just taking an overview. It may be collected by observation or survey and experimentation. Of course, compared to observation, survey, and experimentation is the costliest option. Or you may make use of the research instruments, questionnaires, like say qualitative measures, technological devices. Of course, there are so many different details. We are short of time. We will not have the time to go into the details. Questionnaire could be close-ended, open-ended. Qualitative measures may be good only when the sample size is small, but for larger samples, qualitative doesn't work. Some technological devices you can make use of. Sample, how do you collect the sample, randomly or non-randomly? Those become the issues. Secondary data is one which is already collected by some other organization and you make a use of it. Like some companies may bring out their annual reports, government agencies, like Planning Commission, Niti Aayog, they call it these days, brings out the economic survey. National Sample Survey Organization keep on bringing the different reports. Some private agencies also get into this kind of work and they bring their own reports. Then there may be business organizations like FICCI is there and other similar organizations, the organizations of the industry or the business organizations. They may have their own apex bodies. They do some surveys. They all bring up certain reports from time to time, and it is possible some of them are in public domain, some are not, some are available against a price. But this is something which is already undertaken by someone else and which can be made use of by you as part of your marketing research. Of course, if you are doing the primary data collection, then you may have to plan the according to your research design field work, who will be deployed where, which area you will cover. Now, how you collect the data is becomes the part of the field work. Next stage is data analysis. Whatever you have collected has to be processed and organized into a format which is easily understandable. See, raw data can be very voluminous and it may be very difficult to make out some head and tail or reach a conclusion what you should do. So analyzing and making it in a format, arranging it in a format which will make it easy to understand and help in the decision making process. That is the part of data analysis. You, as part of that, you may classify the data into different components, and then you tabulate it in a summary form, and then you try to interrelate them. Different types of data you interrelate and try to reach a conclusion. Then the next stage is preparing a report. Based on whatever you have collected, you prepare a report and you present the conclusions reached, the findings, and the recommendations. So of course, your report may include the basic things will be what are the objectives, what were the objectives of the research project, what methodology was used, what conclusions have been reached, and what are the recommendations made. As part of that, you may also mention like what kind of samples were used, what kind of sampling plan was used, and of course it may be there may be a detailed report, there may be a what you call the executive summary, and you may try to make it even easier to comprehend by making use of charts, pictograms, by bar charts, or a combination of these. What is the status of market research in India, in Indian conditions? Traditionally, market research was being done very little. In India, research was considered something which is expenditure, but less utility. No longer so. Now, of course, there are business organizations in terms of the size. There are fewer which can afford a large amount of research, because as I mentioned earlier that it costs money. So some of the smaller businesses, they may go more by thumb of rule, or they go more by the following the one or two leaders in the industry. But over a period of time, the interest in market research is going up. Firms realize the benefits which are involved by doing market research, and therefore they are willing to spend more amount and more effort into the. Just a minute. Yes, son. हाँ ब्रेक ले लूंगा भाई, मैं अभी 10. हाँ ठीक है ठीक है. Now there are about 10 minutes to go for our session to end. Will not be able to take up the next one. We'll take up in the next session at 6:15. But we can make use of this time, 10 minutes or any question answers, anything you want to ask. Any queries you have about what we have covered, or maybe something general which I may know, I may not know, but some queries which you have about this particular topic, the units which we have covered. Anyone? Yes, yes, Arti.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, now. Yes.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, I just want to know that about the market research. When we are doing the market research, so we are using the quantitative and qualitative method, as you mentioned earlier. So I
Yes.
just want to know that is there any circumstance that where to use qualitative, where to use quantitative, how we
Normally,
differentiate?
as I had mentioned, probably you missed it, that qualitative is possible only where the sample size is small. You are doing it in a very smaller area. If your target sample is larger, then qualitative becomes difficult. You have to go by the quantitative methods.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yes. Any other point? Anyone? No? I hope I am able to explain it to your clarity of understanding is there, and you are not confused about the concepts. Clarity is there, I hope. And don't hesitate to ask any query where you feel like something is not clear. You need more clarity. So, because I close this slide so that now we are having more space for ourselves. Yes. No? Then shall we break off now?
Okay, sir.
We will join again at 6:15. We take up the next chapter. Okay? Right?
Thank you, sir.
Right.
Okay, sir. Bye.
But